Well, hi again guys, back from dinner and raring to go. Right, now I've cut out the top panel. As you can see, I've marked the slots for the tail fins, but I'm not going to cut them out yet because I don't particularly like to cut out anything really when I'm going to be bending or rolling, because it tends to want to tear on the cutout. I have, however, cut out that one so that we can drop it on there. Now if this works, that's fine. If it doesn't, then I suggest maybe we leave out the antenna bit until after we've done the bending, but we'll see how we go. Now if you remember on an earlier video, I did say the Depron will bend better one way than the other, or it will roll better one way than the other. It rolls better with the grain. Now we'll say, for instance, that's the sheet of Depron. The width way is the 700 way, is the way it doesn't roll so good. The 1 meter way, you will find it bends a lot easier, it's a lot more flexible, and that's the way really, if we do any rolling, that's the way we should roll, because it does roll better that way. Unfortunately, with the top panel, with it being so long, we can't get it across the Depron. It has to be lengthwise on the Depron. So we're going to be, I tested a bit, and because we're going to be rolling lengthwise, I tested a bit of the offcut that I cut off, and unfortunately it didn't roll too well at all over that length, because as I say, normally when I'm rolling anything, I always roll it with the grain, because as you see it rolls a lot better with the grain than it does against the grain. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a little trick that you may or may not have seen. On the outside we have to bend the center of this, we have to bend it up slightly for the curvature there, and then the rest of it has to bend down. So this bit here, unfortunately, we are going to mark, and we'll probably have to use a little bit of filler, a bit of spack filler afterwards. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to mark the center of this on the outside. This is, so I'm going to mark the center very lightly down there, like that, and we see that this, the curvature on the center wants to be to around about there, about the center, about there. So I'm going to put a little mark there. Now, because I'm going to be bending this up first, the center, I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to put a couple of strips of packaging tape. And when you use packaging tape like this, always make sure you get at least, we'll say, 1/4 of an inch overlap, and make sure it's stuck well down, because if it's not stuck well down, it will pull away from the Depron and the Depron will crack. Okay, so what I'm going to do now up to that point there, I'm going to hold the ruler on the centre line, and I'm just going to get a fork. Just a 4-prong fork, and I'm not going to break the surface of the Depron, which is on the outside. I'm just going to put some light marks in like that, and then the same at the other side. Again onto that line and come down like that. Now I haven't actually broken the surface. I think I did on that centre one, but I haven't actually broken the surface of the Depron. I've just simply scored it. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to get, this is just a piece of plastic pipe. Hold that on there, and I'm going to roll it around it. Just to that point there in the centre. Like that. And that'll give us the bend that we need, the roll that we need for this centre section here and here. So it's going to sit there like that, and that's going to, it's going to sit in there nicely like so, and then when we're finished I'll just put a little bit of spatula in there to finish it off. And because again we're bending against the grain, we now need to get these radius the other way. I'm going to do the same thing. I can remove that tape now. I'm going to do the same thing on the inside. I'm going to tape the outside. I'm going to remove the tape from that. I'm going to tape the outside all the way down because we are going to be rolling all the way. Okay, trim off this excess so it doesn't get in my way. Not super important that it's neat, as long as it's out of the way. Okay, so now because I need to roll this on that section there, and then it comes down fairly straight from there. So we're going to be rolling that section there, probably from the centre down to these lines where we've got the slots for the tail. So what I'm going to do measure about 2 inches. 2 inches in. Same there. Draw me a line. Okay, from there up to about there I'm going to score it again with the fork. So again, I'm not going to crush through the surface, I'm just going to go down and mark it. I'll go right through to the end, and then I'm going to set the fork in there. Go down again, right at the end, and then again and right through. So if you can see, I don't know if you can actually see that. Do the same at the other side. This doesn't have to be perfect by any means, just as long as they're reasonably straight. So I now scored the lines there and there. Now that should bend quite easy now. I'm going to use the tube again. In actual fact, it rolls off right to the front there, so I think I'm going to continue the scoring down to the end. It won't do any harm. And again, I'm not scoring through, I'm not digging into the Depron, all I'm doing is marking it. So it hasn't actually broken the surface of the Depron. I don't know if that can be seen from there. I'll try it at various angles now. Edit it out. But there we have, and now I'm going to roll. And it should roll a lot easier now with having the score lines there. A longer piece of pipe for doing this, really. As you can see, with the fact that I've scored them lines, and all I've done is a very light score, but it's making it so much easier to roll this Depron without it getting any kinks in it, as my test piece did. My test piece got these horrible kinks everywhere, and of course the same on the outside. So at least by doing this and getting it rolling nicely, and of course the inside is not going to be seen anyway, so okay. As you can see, we've rolled that quite nicely. Towards the front, I think we need it to be rolled right up to the to the centre here. So I'm going to again score down that line there, very lightly again. So again, I've scored this area here, and now I'm going to roll that. And we've still got this turning back on itself anyway here. It doesn't have to be a lot, it's only a little bit in this area here. So I'll do a test fit on there. Try that out of there. Looks like we've gone out of focus again. There we go, back in focus. Okay. Now, as you can see, that's sitting nicely in the curvature there. And this will go around the forms there. And we'll have to trim off the bottom on an angle, but I think that's going to go around there and fit there quite nicely. Okay, so I'm going to pop that onto one side now. As you can see, that's quite nice. And now we've got these score marks inside, it's going to bend quite easily. So if we need a little more or a little less, it will bend or open up, and it'll bend very, very easily and very neatly. You can see the score lines inside. Our outside is quite nice. There's a few little ripples because this is the biggest problem using this method, and I don't use it unless it's something like this where you really don't have a lot of alternative. Because what happens, as you've got the score lines inside, you do tend to get little ripples on the outside, very, very small. But where you bend one maybe a little bit, or one's a fraction deeper than another, and it bends into it a little more, you are going to get little ripples. But they can be sanded out afterwards. That's the beauty about Depron. Being 6mm, you can actually sand it quite nicely, take off a couple of mil, and you've still got a nice thickness. So we'll pop this on one side now.